some Monday Night Raw hot takes, starting with the ending of Raw last night, where we had Royce Keys. He returned, then turned heel, and he brought up two guys with him, OTM, out of the mud from NXT. And, well, we've got ourselves a new faction. We have Carmichael. He says, who the heck are these thugs? Disgusting. I can't imagine being there live. I guarantee 99% of the people had no idea who these dudes were. Well, I'm going to say this, Carmichael. One, there might have been a dark match after the show, so, that would have sent the people home happy. But let's pretend there wasn't. Some people would tell you that it's your fault you don't know who these guys are because they're in NXT. But I'm not going to tell you that. WWE has shown us time and time again they only care about Raw and SmackDown. Therefore, AAA, NXT, that's optional viewing. And if that is optional viewing, WWE can't fault you for not knowing who characters are. Plus, even if you did know who they are, when they come up to the main roster, WWE a lot of times treats them like jokes. Julia, anybody? Okay, so that said, it's not your fault you don't know who they are. However, I do feel that you are wrong in that because 99% of the people don't know who they are, that it makes it disgusting, that it makes this a bad segment. I don't agree with that. Once upon a time, the Nexus attacked John Cena in a main event of Raw, and a lot of people probably didn't know who they were, and that was an all-time segment. Or what about when The Shield attacked during a triple threat of John Cena, CM Punk, Ryback at a pay-per-view, a PLE? You know, nobody knew who those guys were, and yet that was a great debut. So last night, OTM and Royce Keys, even if nobody knew who those guys were, I don't think that suddenly takes away from the impact of this segment. I would actually even argue they should have went further. I wish they would have tacked during a Bloodline segment and just laid everybody out. That would have been a statement, but no. TTJC says, I hope they keep the name OTM as Royce is also out the mud. Yeah, I wonder what they're going to name themselves now. It feels like Out the Mud would be a good faction name, but I don't think Royce as the leader can just then assume the tag team's name. I think we have to have a full new faction name, and OTM is just part of said faction. Tiz Mickey says, I love that Royce Keys came back with OTM. They were one of my favorite NXT tag teams, but it's hard for me to get excited because WWE doesn't know how to book new stars. Yeah, I mean, you're right. With the exception of Oba Femi, and you could argue Trick Williams, it seems like the NXT call-ups are pretty much more fumbled than not. I guess you could say Stephanie Fakir as well. But look at everybody. Ricky Saints, Ethan Page, even Javon Evans losing to a guy who hasn't been on the roster for 8 years last night. What about the Creed brothers, Ivy Nile? All these people just floundering on the main roster, literally here just to job out to the guys that are already established. Where's Jordan Grace? Nike fan says Hobbs, as in Powerhouse Hobbs, that's what's his name in AEW, but Royce Keys looked like a beast tonight. Yes, he looked like a beast and he looked like he belonged. Royce Keys was not doing it as a babyface. It was like he was uncomfortable in his own skin. But as a heel, the guy, he was a natural. He had so much charisma and he didn't even get on the microphone. I could see it. He is so much a heel character. It's unreal that we even attempted to make this guy a babyface. Mr. Pete says, I appreciate Keys' heel turn solely because I didn't see it coming. I like when I'm genuinely surprised by something WWE does. That doesn't happen often these days because of social media. It also doesn't happen often these days because of Triple H's very predictable booking. Jasper Von Schill says, at first I thought Keys turning on LA Knight and Solo was weird, but the more I think about it, the more it makes sense, and the more my interest rises to see what's next for all the guys in tonight's main event. Yeah, you're not the only one who thought that it was weird that suddenly he's turning on those guys because they just teamed up at SummerSlam. But I feel that if Royce Keys gets on the microphone next week and explains, hey, you know what? I got beat down by the Bloodline and nobody came to help me. I got beat down to the point that I'm bleeding blood out of bleeding blood. What else are you bleeding? But bleeding blood out of my mouth, and nobody came to the hospital. Nobody sent a card. So yeah, Royce Keys can easily justify turning on everybody. It's a simple explanation. WWE just has to give Royce the microphone so he can actually say it. Don't have Michael Cole say it on commentary. Royce Keys needs to say it. Malcolm Bowen says, I thought the Braun and Oba Femi segment was just fine. I wanted to love it, but I just liked it. Oba had better lines than Braun. Braun's lines were just generic. I can't prove this, but I kind of think that they fed Braun Breaker the lines to say, and I think that does him a real disservice. Braun Breaker needs to just go out there and speak whatever comes out of his mouth. That is the strong suit of a Steiner. It might be complete and utter nonsense, but at the same time, it's entertaining nonsense. Last night, it felt like he was trying really hard to hit certain key points that creative gave to him. Now, on the other hand, Oba Femi's a natural. I'm very glad that we're allowing Oba Femi to actually have mic time as opposed to 5 moves of doom squash matches, and I do agree that Oba got the better of Braun. It's OTW says, Austin Theory is absolutely my guy, but him interfering ruined the segment between Braun and Oba for me. Braun pretty much lost a 2-on-1 exchange against Oba. Promo battle was fun, but should have let them slug it out. And I honestly think that Braun Breaker should have won tonight when it was all said and done because he sneaked attacked Oba Femi. And if they are to be treated both as equals, Braun doing a sneak attack should give him the leg up on Oba Femi, to be honest with you. Now, don't get me wrong, they have not treated Braun Breaker like an equal to Oba by jobbing him out pretty much all 2026, with the exception of, one match against Seth freaking Rollins, but if we're supposed to believe they're equals, then a sneak attack on Braun should have given him the advantage to actually stand tall in this segment, especially if he had help from one of his teammates. Najib says, time to let Solo cook. Yeah, Solo is cooking right now. Him and LA Knight both. Who knew? Who knew that those two were here to save WWE? Daniel Kinzer says, Ray and Dragon, match of the year so far. Yeah, that was straight fire. Scott Rathburn says, Dragon Lee versus Phoenix is match of the year candidate. Yeah, a lot of people praising that matchup last night. When he did that, cannonball from the ring through the ropes while Phoenix is on the announce table. That was insane. That was that might be move of the year so far. That was freaking insane, and it was so clean. Do yourselves a favor and go watch that. Errol Noir says, why is La Parka getting the ad break jobber entrance when you're trying to showcase the guy? Where's the logic? The logic is this. This has all literally been set up just so Ray, Phoenix, and Penta could fight each other. That's it. There's no other logic. They're not trying to get AAA over. Triple H does not care enough about AAA to really try to push their talent. Otherwise, why would he be jobbing out the AAA Mega Champion left and right, week in, week out? Eric Guidance says, Roman Reigns and Rollins both no-showed. Anyone who paid for tickets got ripped off, LOL. Well, for one, we don't know if they were advertised because, they've told us what Roman Reigns' schedule is. A no-show is they're supposed to be there, they don't show up. Now, it's a whole different ballgame if they were never advertised. That said, WWE has a habit of putting stars on the promotion and then them just not showing up. But they got that little asterisk at the bottom that says card subject to change. So that's how they cover their butts on that. WWE fan says, due to the tension between the Usos and Jacob, I'm hoping we hear, I love you Solo, sooner rather than later. Yeah, oh my gosh, please. He needs to say that at least one more time in soon, because that is going to pop everybody. Can you imagine? I love you Solo, and then they hug? Like, dude, that place is going to explode. Mr. Zanderson says, I hate to sound like that guy, but dang, WWE is terrible now. These characters are just lame. I love wrestling, but dude, this show has fallen so far, even from the PG/reality era. I don't know what happened after WrestleMania 40, but dang, man, that was the last time every episode felt genuinely exciting. This crap actually makes me sad as a fan, man. Raw sucks every week. That's hardly anything good about these shows, man. WWE has become a more expensive medieval times. If you know, you know. I am gathering that you are not a fan of the current product. You know what happened after WrestleMania 40? Even by Triple H's own admission, all of Vince McMahon's involvement was done. Like, literally, the end of the bloodline and all that stuff, all of that was Triple H kind of riding out the last of Vince McMahon's ideas. Triple H even admitted that himself on an interview. Israel Mondragon says, Solo doing the Matrix was absolutely cinema. Literally cinema. Matrix is cinema. And LA Knight holding him. Oh, God, those two. They are so funny. They are Rock Mankind. Although both Solo and LA Knight are both The Rock, so I don't know who's Mankind in this equation, but that's the vibes they give me off. Just two top guys that have somehow come together and just have amazing chemistry. Sammy says, loving Solo trying to be LA Knight's shield like Seth to Cody Rhodes. Yeah, I love it too. I only wish that it would lead to at least a 2-month title reign for LA Knight. Yeah, highly doubt it, but wouldn't that be amazing? Solo cost Roman the title, and then Roman and Solo can have a feud, and then Roman can circle back and win it from LA Knight, but yeah, not gonna happen. I wish. Andre Bryant says, is Oba and Io in WWE kayfabe the worst king and queen of the ring of all time? Neither wear the crown and neither go by king or queen of the ring. There's plenty of king of the rings that didn't wear the crown. I mean, the moment Austin won the king of the ring, cut his 316 promo, he just never mentioned it again. The problem is Triple H just loved tournaments because then he doesn't have to write TV. He thinks that the tournament itself is the story, and it's not. You're supposed to have mini stories within a tournament for one larger story is not just a way to kill TV time, but that's what Triple H treats it as. So that when Oba Femi and Io Sky do win it, who are very credible and deserving king and queen of the rings, they really have nothing to do after because, again, this was just a tournament to kill TV time, not an actual tournament to further stories. So yeah, Oba and Io are kind of pointless king and queens of the ring. But that said, so was Gunther, so was Cody, so is everybody in the current landscape. Next year's king and queen of the ring, they'll be pointless as well. Esther says, I keep seeing people say that Oba can take a loss and Braun Breaker can't. Why should Oba's momentum be halted to prop up Braun Breaker? Honestly, a lot of people are going to be mad at that take, but I feel it's valid. I said from the get-go of this feud that we should not be having Braun Breaker actually facing Oba Femi right now because of all of the damage that Triple H has done to Braun Breaker. Adam Pearce punking him out left and right, week in, week out. CM Punk beating him, getting eliminated in 3 seconds at the Royal Rumble, losing his feud to Seth freaking Rollins, not being on the SummerSlam card. All right? Braun Breaker has been dismantled. That is not someone that goes up against Oba Femi. You need to rebuild Braun for 3 to 4 months. Braun Breaker needs to go through the entire roster, work himself back up, and then face Oba Femi when they're both at equal momentum. Because momentum for Braun has only been down and Oba only up. That's not when these two should be facing each other, if that makes sense. So you have a valid take. All right, I am going to end the video. I do apologize if I didn't get to your hot takes or if my energy was a little low today. So I got full transparency. Somebody in my life passed away, and I'm still like processing that. And I was hoping that today's video would help just get my mind off it. And it did. But I'm also having a difficulty time doing the video. I just ask, do me a favor. Boys and gals, each and every single one of you, I want you to think of somebody that you have not talked to in over a year, in over 2 years. That meant a lot to you. I ask that you would go and call them, text them, Facebook them, something, and let them know that they meant something to you. And I appreciate every single one of you. And see you, bye.